I grew up in a time when being careful with money was not a choice. It was a way of life. We did not waste, we did not overspend, and we certainly did not buy things we did not need. Over the years, I have seen trends come and go. Gadgets promise to make life easier, and the cost of living climb higher and higher. But you know what has never gone out of style? Common sense, simple habits, the kind that saved our parents money and still save us money today. In this video, I want to share 12 old-fashioned habits I still follow. Habits that have helped me save thousands of dollars every year. These are not tricks or quick fixes. They are time-tested ways of living that bring peace of mind, reduce stress, and help you live better with less. If you are retired, on a fixed income, or just want to make smarter choices with what you have, I think you will find something valuable here. These are not just habits. They are part of a mindset, one built on gratitude, simplicity, and being wise with what we are given. Habit 1. Turn off the lights. This one may seem obvious, but let me tell you, it is more powerful than most people think. Growing up, I remember my father saying, "If you are not in the room, the light should not be either." He did not say it once. He said it every single time someone left a light on. And now I find myself saying the same thing, even when I am the only one around. Turning off the lights when you leave a room does more than save electricity. It creates a mindset, a habit of mindfulness. When you are aware of the little things, like a light switch, you start becoming more aware of the big things, like how much water you use, or how much food you waste. For me, turning off the lights is not just about saving a few cents. It is about respecting what we use. Electricity costs have gone up over the years. A few lights left on all day, every day, will show up on your bill, whether you notice it or not. Some folks will argue it is no big deal. But for those of us living on a fixed income or simply trying to be more intentional, every dollar counts. I also believe that creating a calm, peaceful home means turning things off when you do not need them. A room with natural light in the daytime feels better than one lit up with bulbs. In the evenings, I keep only the lamps I need turned on. It slows the mood, eases my mind, and it lowers the bill. A win on all fronts. So this small habit, turning off the lights when you leave a room, it adds up over time. Not just in your wallet, but in how you live your life. It teaches discipline, presence, and appreciation. It reminds us that every bit matters and that even the smallest actions can lead to meaningful results over time. Habit 2. Hang clothes to dry. There is something deeply satisfying about hanging your laundry to dry. I know for some folks, it feels like going back in time. But for me, it has always felt just right. There is a kind of peace in the process, pinning each shirt or towel, watching them sway in the breeze, and bringing them in, warm from the sun. When I was growing up, we did not own a dryer. My mother used a clothesline in the backyard year-round, even in winter, when she had to hang things up inside. The dryer came later, but by then, the habit had already been formed. We hung things to dry because it worked, and because it saved us money. Dryers use a lot of electricity, and they wear out your clothes faster. That tumble and heat might be convenient, but over time it fades the fabric, stretches the seams, and shortens the life of your clothing. I still have dish towels from years ago because I never over-dried them. When you hang your clothes, they last longer. That is not just frugal. That is smart. I keep a folding rack in my laundry room for rainy days and a simple line in the backyard for sunny ones. It takes only a few extra minutes, but the savings and the feeling of doing something naturally make it well worth it. And yes, your clothes smell better too, especially when they dry under open sky. People say, time is money. But sometimes, slowing down just a little saves you more in the long run. If you have never tried hanging your laundry, start small. Maybe just your t-shirts or your sheets. You will see the difference, not only in your bills, but in your mindset. It is a small act of care, and it teaches patience, gratitude, and attention to detail. To me, that is worth far more than a few cents on the meter. Habit 3. Save glass jars. I have always saved glass jars. Pickle jars, pasta sauce jars, jelly jars, you name it. They are sturdy, reusable, and surprisingly useful. I do not buy containers anymore. I do not need to. A good glass jar does the job just fine, and it often does it better. Back in the day, we did not throw things out if they could still be used. That was just how we lived. Glass jars were one of those things that seemed too good to toss. They held leftovers, nuts and bolts in the garage, sewing supplies, loose change, homemade jam, dried beans, you name it. They were our version of Tupperware before Tupperware existed in every kitchen. What I love about using glass jars is that they are free, they are durable, and they do not hold smells or stains like plastic does. You can see what is inside. They are easy to wash, and if you drop them, well, they might break, but they will not leach chemicals into your food. That peace of mind means something. I also enjoy the look of a cabinet full of clean, repurposed jars. It reminds me that I am living simply, but intentionally. There is no waste in that. There is satisfaction in knowing that something meant to be tossed has found a second life. People sometimes laugh when they see how many jars I have saved. But when they need one, guess who they ask? Me. I have jars for dry goods, jars for soup, jars for screws, buttons, paper clips. I use them for everything, and I have not had to buy a plastic container in years. Saving glass jars is one of those habits that feels small, but says a lot about how we view resources. If you treat what you have with care, it lasts longer, and if you reuse what you already own, you spend less. That is good for your wallet, good for the planet, and good for your spirit. Habit 4. Cook from scratch. There is something honest about cooking from scratch. It is the way I learned to cook standing beside my mother as she measured flour with a coffee mug and stirred soup with a wooden spoon older than me. Back then, we did not have frozen dinners or takeout apps. We had ingredients and the time and patience to turn them into something real. Cooking from scratch saves money. A whole lot of it. A bag of dried beans costs far less than canned soup. Flour, sugar, and butter make more cookies than any store-bought box ever could. And when you cook at home, you know what is in your food. No mystery additives. No preservatives you cannot pronounce. But beyond saving money, cooking from scratch brings something else. Connection. You connect to the food, to the process, to the people you feed. You use your hands, you smell the ingredients, you taste as you go. It is an experience, not a transaction. I still make my own bread from time to time, not because I have to, but because I want to. It tastes better, it costs less, and it reminds me of where I came from. A kitchen full of warmth, not noise. A meal made with intention, not speed. Even if you are not much of a cook, start simple. Make a pot of soup from whatever is in your fridge. Bake a pan of cornbread. Cook a whole chicken and stretch it across 3 meals. These small acts bring nourishment in more ways than one. In a world that moves too fast and spends too much, going back to the basics can feel like coming home. Cooking from scratch is not just about saving money. It is about bringing meaning back to the everyday, one meal at a time. Habit 5. Use the envelope system. The envelope system may sound old-fashioned, but let me tell you, it works. I learned it from my mother, who always kept a small drawer filled with carefully labeled envelopes. She had one for groceries, one for gas, one for household supplies, one for emergencies, and sometimes an extra one she simply called just in case. Every time she got paid, She would divide the money into those envelopes, and she would not spend $1 more than what was inside. It was discipline, yes, but it was also security. She always knew exactly where her money was going. I still use that system today. Even in an age of digital banking and automatic payments, there is something grounding about handling real cash. When you physically place money into an envelope, you feel the value of it. You see it decreasing as you spend it, and that makes you think twice before buying something you do not truly need. It becomes easier to distinguish between what is necessary and what is simply convenient. The envelope system also removes surprises. There are no overdrafts, no forgotten subscriptions quietly draining your account, no guessing where your money disappeared to. It gives you control, and at this stage of life, having control over your finances brings comfort. Especially for those of us living on a fixed income, knowing exactly how much is left for the month brings peace of mind that digital numbers on a screen simply do not provide. People sometimes tell me the envelope system feels limiting. I tell them it is the opposite. When I stay within my envelopes, I give myself freedom. Freedom from worry, freedom from stress, freedom from overspending. It is a simple habit, a humble one, but it has saved me thousands of dollars over the years. If you have never tried it, give it a chance. Start with 2 or 3 envelopes. You might be surprised at how much easier life feels when your money has a place to belong. Habit 6. Sleep on every purchase. When I was younger, my father had a rule that I never forgot. He would say, "If you want something, wait one night. If you still want it tomorrow, maybe it is worth buying." It sounded silly to me as a kid, but now I understand the wisdom behind it. That single night of waiting has saved me more money than I could ever count. In today's world, everything encourages instant buying. You see something online, you click, and it arrives on your doorstep before you have even had time to wonder whether you needed it. But when you sleep on a purchase, you let your emotions settle. You allow your practical mind to catch up with your impulses. More often than not, the desire fades overnight. I cannot tell you how many times I woke up the next morning and thanked myself for waiting. This habit also teaches patience. And patience is one of the greatest financial tools we have. It helps us avoid clutter, avoid debt, and avoid buying things that bring excitement for 20 minutes and regret for much longer. The truth is, most of the things we think we either need right now are things we forget about within a week. Sleeping on a purchase also helps you appreciate the things you do decide to buy. When you wait, and you consider, and you choose with intention, the item holds more meaning. You value it. You take better care of it. That alone makes your money last longer. It may be an old-fashioned habit, but it is one of the most powerful. A single night of waiting can keep your home simpler, your wallet fuller, and your mind clearer. And all it asks of you is time. Habit 7. Avoid subscriptions you do not use. Subscriptions can be a quiet thief. They look small at first. $5 here, $10 there, maybe a streaming service or a magazine or some app you signed up for months ago. You barely feel it at the time, but add them all together, month after month, and suddenly you realize you're paying hundreds of dollars a year for things you do not even use. Back when I was younger, we paid for things once. A newspaper, a television, a radio. Now everything seems to come with a recurring fee. And if you do not keep track, you end up paying for convenience instead of value. That is why, once a month, I sit down with a notepad and go through my bank statement line by line. I review every recurring charge and ask myself one simple question. Did I truly use this? If the answer is no, it gets canceled immediately. There is a feeling of relief that comes from cutting away unnecessary expenses. It is like clearing out a junk drawer. Suddenly, there is room to breathe again, and the money you free up adds up quickly. Subscriptions are designed to be forgotten, which means you need to be intentional about remembering them. I believe in paying for what brings joy or usefulness, but I refuse to pay for things that simply take up space on a bill. This habit has saved me a lot over the years, and it keeps my life simpler too. Fewer subscriptions means fewer distractions, fewer decisions, and fewer obligations. Call it old-fashioned, but reviewing your spending regularly is one of the most powerful ways to stay financially steady. A small bit of awareness each month, it can save you hundreds of dollars every year. Habit 8. Fix what you can before you replace it. In the house I grew up in, nothing was thrown away without at least trying to fix it. A loose chair leg, a torn shirt, a leaky faucet. We worked on them. We patched, glued, tightened, and repaired. Not because it was trendy, but because it was normal. Buying something new was the last resort, not the first solution. Today, people often toss things out at the first sign of trouble. A small crack, a loose button, or a slow drip sends them straight to the store for a replacement. But the truth is, most things can be fixed with a little time and patience, and fixing them not only saves money, but also gives you a sense of pride. There is something rewarding about bringing an item back to life with your own hands. I keep a simple toolbox at home, a screwdriver set, glue, a hammer, some nails, and a small sewing kit. It costs very little, but it allows me to repair most everyday problems. A button missing from a shirt takes 5 minutes to sew back on. A chair that wobbles just needs a screw tightened. These small repairs prevent you from spending money unnecessarily. Fixing things also helps them last longer. When you take care of your belongings, they take care of you in return. And there is a quiet dignity in maintaining what you have instead of constantly replacing it. It teaches patience, responsibility, and gratitude. I believe we should use things until they truly reach the end of their life, not out of desperation, but out of respect. When you fix what you can, you save money, yes, but you also keep alive a mindset of resourcefulness that is becoming rare these days. Habit 9. Grow what you can. You do not need a big backyard to grow something. You just need a pot, some dirt, a little sunlight, and a bit of patience. I have been growing herbs on my windowsill for years. Parsley, basil, mint, and sometimes tomatoes on the patio when the weather allows. It is not about feeding a whole family. It is about the small things that add flavor, freshness, and savings. When I was young, we had a garden out back. My parents grew potatoes, onions, corn, green beans, anything the soil would give us. We canned what we could and shared with neighbors what we could not use. It was hard work, but it was rewarding. Food tasted better, and we appreciated every bite. Now I do not have the energy for a full garden, but I still grow what I can. Even a small container garden can make a difference. A few fresh herbs from your own windowsill means fewer trips to the store, fewer half-used bunches going bad in the fridge, and more satisfaction in your meals. Growing your own food, even just a little, connects you to the seasons. It teaches patience. You cannot rush it. And when something finally grows, whether it is a handful of cherry tomatoes or a bunch of rosemary, it feels like a small victory. Plus, it saves money. A packet of seeds costs less than one bundle of herbs at the grocery store. And those seeds can give you weeks, even months, of fresh food. That is a habit worth passing down. So if you have a windowsill, a porch, or even just a sunny spot by the kitchen, give it a try. Grow what you can. It is simple, grounding, and it reminds you that not everything has to come from a store to be valuable. Habit 10. Walk instead of drive when you can. There was a time when walking was not something you had to make time for. It was just part of life. We walked to the store, to school, to visit neighbors. And we never thought much of it. It was just how things were. These days, with everything so fast-paced and car-dependent, people forget how good walking can be. Not just for your body, but for your wallet too. Every time you choose to walk instead of drive, You save money. Gas, maintenance, wear and tear. It all adds up. Even short trips down the road can cost more than we realize. For me, if a place is within a mile, I walk. Sometimes farther if I have the time and energy. Not only does it save money, but it keeps my joints moving, my heart stronger, and my mind clearer. Walking also helps you notice things. You see the trees changing with the seasons. You hear birdsong. You might run into a neighbor and stop for a quick hello. These are small joys, but they add up. They make life feel more full, more connected. I understand that not everyone can walk far, and that is all right. But even a few blocks, even a slow stroll around your neighborhood can do you good. And if you make it a habit, walking first before reaching for the car keys, you will find that you use your car less, you spend less, and you feel better doing it. Walking is free. That alone makes it one of the best habits you can have. But beyond saving money, it reminds us that not everything needs to be rushed or motorized. Sometimes the slow way is the better way. Habit 11. Reuse and repurpose. Back in the day, nothing went to waste. A butter tub became a container for screws. An old t-shirt became a cleaning rag. A coffee can held nails or buttons. We did not call it recycling or upcycling. We just called it using what you had. That habit stayed with me. To this day, I rarely throw something out without asking, can I use this for something else? It is a simple question, but it has saved me hundreds of dollars over the years. I have turned old curtains into dish towels, used worn-out socks as dusters, and repurposed shipping boxes for storage. Not because I had to, but because it made sense. Reusing is about seeing value in what others overlook. It is a mindset that says, I already have enough. And that mindset is powerful. It frees you from constantly chasing the next new thing, and it helps you stretch your resources in ways that feel creative and satisfying. Repurposing also brings a sense of pride. You fix something, you make it useful again, and you feel good about it. There is dignity in that. It means you are paying attention. It means you are being responsible. And let us be honest, our landfills are full enough already. If we can reuse just a few more items in our daily lives, we reduce waste, we save money, and we live with more awareness. Old-fashioned? Maybe. But useful? Absolutely. So before you toss something, ask yourself, can this be something else? Can it serve one more purpose? You might be surprised at what you come up with. Habit 12. Live below your means. This is the habit that ties all the others together. Live below your means. It sounds simple, but it goes against everything the world tells us today. Advertisements say, you deserve more. Credit cards say, you can afford it. But true peace comes when you stop living for appearances and start living within, or even below, your actual income. For me, living below my means has never felt like sacrifice. It has felt like freedom. When you spend less than you make, you sleep better. You worry less. You are not chasing every sale or trying to impress anyone. You are simply living wisely and within your limits. It means cooking at home instead of eating out all the time. It means driving a car that runs well, not one that looks flashy. It means saying no to things that might feel good now, but hurt you later. And it means saying yes to what truly matters: health, relationships, time, and peace of mind. This habit has helped me avoid debt, build a savings cushion, and live a life that feels balanced. It has helped me appreciate the small things: a quiet morning, a hot cup of coffee, a walk through the park, because I am not caught up in trying to have everything. Living below your means is not about being cheap. It is about being intentional. It is choosing a life that fits, not one that stretches you thin. It is saying, I have enough, and really meaning it. If you adopt only one habit from this list, let it be this one. It will change everything. not overnight, but over time. And with time, you will see that simplicity is not a step back. It is a step forward into a life with more peace, more meaning, and more room to breathe.